The sun shone gently over the Atlantic Memorial Orphanage, nestled within the protective domes of New Geneva. Inside the climate-controlled gardens, children laughed, chasing each other between digital trees and fountains programmed to mimic old Earth's rivers. Their joy was unfiltered, their world untouched by the dark skies that hovered just beyond Earth's gravitational shield. Caretaker Rian Mendel adjusted his glasses as he watched a boy named Timo try to balance a stack of wooden blocks. "One more," Timo whispered, tongue poking from the corner of his mouth. Rian smiled. "If you get to 10, you win a second pudding tonight." Elsewhere in the rec hall, a girl no older than 9 tapped on a display, drawing stars in artificial starlight. Another group was listening to a dramatized history of Earth's early colonial failures and triumphs. The orphanage was more than a sanctuary, it was a promise that even in the aftermath of war, humanity could choose to protect its most vulnerable. At 16:23 hours, everything changed. Without warning, a vibration rippled through the ground. Then, a thunderous crack split the sky. From above, kinetic rods, orbital weapons banned under all known interplanetary law, fell like spears of light. They struck without mercy. The dome shattered. A flash of silence preceded the screaming. Fire and debris swept through classrooms, vaporizing steel, bone, and memory. The gardens were scorched black, the children within erased in an instant. Earth's automated defense grid kicked in moments too late, intercepting a final rod mid-fall, its impact redirected harmlessly into the sea. 73 children. 11 staff. All gone. The world froze. In orbital relay stations, analysts stared at footage replayed in looped horror. News anchors trembled as casualty numbers updated in real time. Streets filled with candle vigils as names and hollow images of the dead were uploaded to the memorial net. The message was not just destruction. It was a challenge. Within Earth Command's subterranean complex, a holographic table displayed the impact zone with brutal clarity. Blood-red rings marked the blast radius. General Marcus Lorne stood silently, jaw clenched, arms behind his back. Beside him, Commander Eva Tran examined the trajectory data. Her fingers tapped against the interface like a surgeon selecting a scalpel. "We traced the orbital strike pattern to an energy signature common to Valtor Quill's fleet," said an analyst. "The casing alloys matched their orbital bombardment class." "It wasn't a rogue ship?" Lorne asked, though he already knew the answer.
"No, sir."
This was military-grade, precision-targeted. A tense silence filled the room. Eva Tran didn't flinch. Her face, angular and unreadable, had earned her a reputation both feared and respected. Behind her eyes, however, lived a much older pain. She had been 12 when the colonies on Vega Minor burned, the sole survivor of a boarding party that slaughtered her family for control of a mining route. She knew what it meant when the powerful crushed the weak for leverage. "I want eyes on Quill's faction leadership. Diplomatic channels open. If this was sanctioned, they'll try to spin it," she said coldly. Within hours, the alien representative appeared, a blue-skinned, high-crested being whose form shimmered with layered armor and ceremonial filigree. The council chamber lights adjusted to his presence. His name hovered in augmented text, Valtor Quill. "I extend my sorrow," he began, voice sonorous and too smooth. "We regret the loss of young life. But Earth's defensive satellites have become increasingly aggressive in neutral zones. Perhaps one of our units responded prematurely." "Save it," Lorne growled. Quill blinked slowly. "We are investigating. If this was a rogue commander, we will issue disciplinary action." Eva stepped forward. "Do you expect us to believe someone just happened to drop weapons banned under the Galactic Accord on a school full of orphans?" Quill's mouth curved, not quite a smile. "In war, accidents happen." "This wasn't war," she said. "This was murder." The connection flickered. The alien's image dissipated, replaced by silence and stares. Lorne turned to Eva. "We need to move fast. The public is screaming for justice." Council stalling. "The council can deliberate," Eva said. "We'll act." That night, she sat alone in her quarters, scrolling through hollow memorials. Children's faces hovered in the air, giggling, dancing, forever frozen in joy. She paused at one girl's file. Name: Amaya Lynn, age 7. Last recorded words: "When I grow up, I want to fly a ship." Her hand tightened. Outside, in the hangars of Earth's orbital fleet, warships shimmered under starlight. The flagship Retribution powered up, its systems awakening like a beast stirred from slumber. Across the system, humanity mourned. But in the silence behind closed command doors, they prepared. Because the galaxy had crossed a line, and humanity would answer with fire and steel. The conference chamber deep within Earth Command felt colder than usual, despite the regulated temperature. Walls of polished alloy hummed with quiet data streams, and a dozen holoscreens floated above the war table, each projecting strategic analytics, intercepted comms, and a real-time broadcast of protests erupting across every major city on Earth. Faces of grief had given way to rage. Commander Eva Tran stood at the far end of the table, arms crossed behind her back, shoulders rigid as the officers around her debated humanity's next move. Admiral Sato's voice cut through the static. "We are not prepared for a sustained interstellar engagement," he said, gesturing toward a graph tracking fleet strength. "Retaliation invites escalation. Quill's alliance block numbers 12 systems. Will be outgunned by week 2. General Lorne's voice, rough and uncompromising, met him head-on. "We don't need a month. We just need one night. One coordinated strike. Hit them where it hurts. Let them know Earth is not prey." Eva said nothing. Her eyes remained on a looping clip. Valtor Quill standing before the Intergalactic Council, smug and unshaken. "Accidents," he had said again. "Misunderstandings in sensitive orbital zones." The footage made her stomach twist. On the opposite end of the table, Director Halim of the Diplomatic Corps leaned forward. "We have sent a formal demand. Quill has 72 hours to surrender those responsible and issue reparations. Let's not torch diplomacy before it has a chance to work." "Diplomacy failed when the dome cracked," Eva said, her voice low and even. The table quieted. The children weren't soldiers. There was no miscommunication. The orphanage was a target chosen for symbolism. "We hesitate now. We become complicit." She projected a series of decrypted messages onto the center display. The intercepted data was damning. Quill's inner circle referencing Operation Sunder, a directive to strike Earth's civilian infrastructure to provoke psychological destabilization. The logs confirmed targeting coordinates matched the orphanage's geolocation. There was no longer room for doubt. A hushed tension swept the room. Even Halim looked pale. Eva leaned in, her tone sharp. This was not rogue behavior. It was sanctioned terror. Vice Admiral Juno, who had been silent, finally spoke. "We've been preparing for another front, just not this soon. The Retribution is operational. The Ghost Wing squadrons are ready. We deploy under Black Flag protocol. We can hit 6 of their orbital stations before they know we've moved." "What about the Accord?" Saito asked. "Retaliation on this scale violates every interstellar treaty. We break it, we're labeled aggressors." Eva met his gaze. "They labeled us victims and still killed our children. Let them call us what they like." Silence held again, but it was different now. Charged, tense, ready to ignite. General Lorne pressed his palm to the table. "Then we authorize Operation Steel Veil. Objectives: decapitate Quill's war command, disable orbital superiority, minimize civilian impact. Precision and speed. This is justice, not conquest." No one objected. Later that evening, Eva found herself walking the silent halls of the central memorial atrium. The glass floor displayed an interactive map of the orphanage ruins, surrounded by floating names. She stopped at Amaya Lynn's entry again. The AI projection shimmered to life. "Do you want to hear Amaya's message?" it asked. Eva hesitated, then nodded. A soft, childlike voice played. "Hi, future me. I hope you still love ships. Don't forget to help people who are sad. And fly high, higher than anyone else." The recording ended. Eva stood motionless, the glow of the map reflecting in her eyes. Her comm pinged.
Lorne.
Council just ratified the launch. We move at 0400. You're leading the strike. She acknowledged, then replied. Begin fleet wake-up. And prepare message beacons. If Quill has any honor left, I want him to hear us coming. A pause. He won't respond. Then he'll feel it. Beyond the memorial dome, the dark sky shimmered with distant stars. Soon it would burn. The Retribution emerged from the shadow of Jupiter like a silent blade, its obsidian hull absorbing the starlight. No fanfare. No broadcast. Just the dull hum of weapons charging and engines calibrating for war. A fleet of 32 warships flanked it. Stealth corvettes, drone carriers, plasma cruisers, all running cold, all deadly quiet. Inside the command bridge, Commander Eva Tran stood at the helm, gaze locked on the holographic projection of Valtor Quill's orbital stronghold, Drexen Bastion, a ringed fortress nestled within the gravity well of Gorgoth Prime. This was where Quill's high command convened. This was where Retribution would begin. Targeting arrays synced, reported Lieutenant Kale across the deck. Ghost Wing squadrons primed for silent insertion. EMP rounds loaded. Eva didn't blink. Engage blackout protocol. No signals in or out. One by one, the ships vanished from detection arrays, slipping beneath sensor thresholds like sharks circling prey. Time slowed. In the hours that followed, the human fleet closed the distance with surgical precision. Earth's finest pilots guided their crafts through asteroid cover and radiation belts, pushing their nerves to the edge. Each minute brought them closer to vengeance. Inside Drexen Bastion, alarms didn't ring until the lights flickered. Once, then twice. Then the Eastern Defense grid went dark. By then, it was already too late. The Retribution opened fire. A silent pulse of kinetic energy tore through space, followed by a hail of high-velocity rods that struck the bastion's outer spine. The soundless bloom of explosions spread like fire through a dry forest. Drone pods detached from their carriers, swarming forward in synchronized patterns, carving through Quill's orbital guard like plasma through ice. Commander Tran's voice carried through the fleet's neural link. All units, strike clean. Minimize collateral. Command nodes are primary. Confirmed combatants only. On the outer decks, Ghost Wing pilots launched from their bays, sleek exo-armored soldiers armed with gravity disruptors and nanolades. They moved like phantoms, sweeping through Quill's military satellites, hacking control networks, disabling launch codes, and in some cases, ensuring their enemies never saw them coming. Quill's forces scrambled to respond, but their arrogance had bred complacency. No one expected Earth to retaliate with such coordination, such precision, such fury. Inside the bastion, the enemy command fractaled into chaos. High Commander Threx of the Valtor Defense Ring tried to flee, but found the exits sealed and corridors darkened. Moments later, Ghost Wing operatives breached the chamber. He reached for a sidearm, but Eva Tran stepped from the smoke, her sidearm already drawn. "You bombed our children," she said, her voice void of emotion. Threx sneered, alien mouth curling. "Collateral." She shot him once, clean, precise, then turned to the others. "Anyone else want to redefine collateral?" None answered. By the third hour of the operation, Drexen Bastion was a hollowed husk. Its defense AI had been overwritten. Its weapon systems disarmed. Its command staff either dead or in chains. Eva stood in the command chamber, blood and circuitry pooling beneath her boots. The data relay flickered to life. Valtor Quill's image appeared, pre-recorded, triggered by the fall of the bastion. "Earth," the recording hissed, "will drown in consequences." She watched in silence as the message played, eyes narrowing at the venom in his tone. She knew what was coming.
This would not be the end.
"Broadcast to Quill's relay channel," she ordered. The tech officers complied. "This is Commander Eva Tran of Earth's Retribution Fleet," she said, voice steady, carried across the stars. "This is the price of your cruelty. The children you murdered had no weapons, no shields, no defenses. You chose them to show us fear. We chose this to show you resolve. Next time, it won't be a fortress. It will be your capital. She closed the channel. Back aboard the Retribution, the crew sat in silence for a moment. Not triumph, not relief, just breathless stillness. Then a new alert pinged. "Commander," Lieutenant Kale said, brows furrowed, "we're receiving encrypted footage from one of the lower chambers. You'll want to see this." The feed loaded. Inside a reinforced prison cell, amidst shattered walls and sparking consoles, a small figure huddled under debris, alive. A child.
Human.
Malnourished.
Scared.
Whispering something over and over. Eva leaned forward, lip tightening.
What is she saying? Someone asked.
Kale played the audio through filters. "Don't let the stars fall. Don't let the stars fall." Eva turned away from the screen.
"Prepare medical," she said.
"And update Earth Command. The operation succeeded." She looked out the viewport one last time. Drexen Bastion burned like a second sun, casting light over the fleet. But Eva knew the fire was just beginning.